So you have advice on how to get along with everyone, even with a person who's highly sensitive and emotional and so on. What about the person himself? What can he do to not be so sensitive?
To not be
Or is that not even a hope?
A lot of people have that ambition, like they want to get to a point where they're not sensitive. I don't think that's practical, first of all. Just like it wouldn't be practical for the blue personality to try to be less kind-hearted or care less about another person's feelings. That's natural. And I don't think anyone's supposed to look to be someone else. It's an issue, especially with children. Make sure that children don't feel that they're supposed to be someone else that they're not. But I think that somebody who is hypersensitive should be aware of it, should look for ways to deal with it, should look for responsible ways to get around difficulties, to avoid them, and to learn how to have better coping skills, definitely. Even though most of what I teach is about understanding such people.
Right.
But I do have a chapter about how a UV could live more contentedly and learn the skills and understand it, yeah.
For example?
Let me just go back for a second. Right? We're talking about the clarity and understanding. I believe that very many people who are hypersensitive, when they get to that moment of clarity and they see, you're right, I am, it's very, very often they would either avoid admitting to, or they wouldn't even notice it within themselves. They would be blaming other people for their hurt feelings. So when a person comes to that understanding, a certain clarity, he's already more equipped. He's already not blaming others for hurt feelings and things like that. So it's already it's so eye-opening when somebody is ready to understand himself, and all of a sudden he becomes more capable of dealing with his emotions, even though they come and they're there. But just knowing what they are, it's already much more, makes it easier. But what they are, well, a lot of it is about learning triggers, which people do in therapy, right? You learn what the triggers are, you learn to avoid them, you learn to prepare for a situation that you can't avoid, right? And like I said, even just the understanding that nobody means to hurt you, or the people closest to you really do care about you, even though, with some kind of hypersensitive black and white way of thinking, sometimes when somebody offends you, it could disrupt your whole perception of the relationship. But understanding it could already make it that much easier, even though the hurt feelings are definitely still there.
So that fits with what it says in Chassidus, that there are two projects. One is to change your natural emotions, and the other is to change the nature of emotions, which is really an ambitious plan.
Yeah.
To change your natural emotions, of course, that comes through clarity.
Right.
When the mind can see clearly, the emotions behave a little better. Right. Because the mind is in control. But then there's another project, changing the nature of emotions, which is really fascinating. The nature of emotions is that it does not see clearly.
Not logical.
It's so subjective,
right,
that it can't question itself. This is how I feel. I shouldn't, but look at the fact. I'm angry. I'm hurt, right?
It's real.
It's real. It is the reality,
yeah,
right? Changing the nature of emotions means taking that away. The emotion is not a decision, it's not a force. So you feel it. Now decide what you want to do with it. But that's not the mind controlling the heart. The heart has become, the emotions have become a little bit objective. So just like the brain can say, I have a theory, I'm not sure it's correct. It's your theory, your brain created it, and your brain can say, it may not be right.
Right.
Why can't the heart do that? Why can't the emotion say, wow, am I upset? But then again, why do I have to be? But it's the emotions doing it. So those emotions have basically changed their stripes. It's an emotion, but it's not the nature of emotion. So this is a very ambitious project that can really not only save relationships, it can save lives.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Because it's not a life if you live, the hyper intensity and sensitivity. It's not a life for the person.
Level. Yeah, definitely.
So, there's no wonder that they're thrashing and desperate to get out of there or to find some solutions.